Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be doing a repaint on the Spectra Vondergeist doll, and I've decided to make her a green witch. Definitely one of my favorite repaints that I've done so far. The first thing I'm going to be doing is trying to remove her head, and I always use a little bit of heat that helps to soften it and makes it easier to get the head off of there. Unfortunately with her, I just felt like it looked a little bit fragile, so no matter how careful I was, I felt like it was going to snap off of there. So I decided instead just to cut an opening in the back of her head and remove it that way. Now I'm just going to be cutting off all the hair. Again, a little bit of heat helps to loosen that glue. However, her glue really wasn't as sticky as most of the Monster High dolls. Then I'm using some acetone just to remove the factory paint. I'm going to go ahead and sand her body and get all those shiny parts off of there. I didn't spray with Mr. Super Clear before I started putting on the first layer of pastels, and that seems to work just fine. So I'm just getting some color on her eye area to start. And she's got that nice little dip underneath the cheekbone, and I'm just going to darken that up a little bit. I'm doing the same thing with her body. I'm just getting some color on there. And what I like to use is the white pan pastel. It always softens everything. So if the color ends up being a little bit too strong, if I go over it with a little bit of the white, it softens everything and it just works. Sometimes I just dab some of the pastels on there because it gives it a little bit more of a lifelike appearance. It doesn't look quite so airbrushed. At this point I have sprayed her face with Mr. Super Clear, and I'm letting her dry while I'm working on the body, and I'm just using a finer brush to get some of that detail in there. And her body makes it super easy because she's got all these lines, and I'm just adding a little bit of the dark shadows in there, and it just looks so much more realistic. Again, if it gets too dark, you can always use a little bit of the white just to go over it. It blends it, and it'll soften it. So here I'm changing her eye shape, and it's going to be different from her original eye shape, and that does tend to be a little bit more difficult trying to get those to line up. If I make a mistake, I don't use an eraser. It doesn't work for me. It leaves a little dull spot. But when I'm using watercolor pencils, I just dip my paintbrush into a little bit of water and I can loosen that right up. I did give her freckles, and I'm using 2 or 3 different colors to create those. Here I'm making her eyebrows, and you can see I made a mistake, and I'm just using that slightly damp Q-tip, and I just dab it a little bit and it gets rid of it, and I can do it again. Adding a little bit of a darker color to the eyebrows here. And I'm just adding some lines to her lip here, and you can't see it, it's off camera, but I dipped my brush into some water and I just touched the tip of a watercolor pencil, and that's what I'm using to make the lines. I'm using acrylics for her eyes. And then I'm adding some lashes, and I'm also going to be putting just a little bit of UV resin on her eyes and on her lips. To apply her hair, I always use a low heat glue gun, and that seems to work the best. I'm going to put the first bead of glue on the back of her head, and I'm going to be working my way around in a circle to the top. And as I'm putting the hair on here, I'm making sure that it's completely smooth. So you'll see me using the glue gun not only to glue, but to also use the heat from it to smooth everything down. So when I get to the very top, I'm just going to put a bead of glue down, and then I press the hair in there, and I'm not going to use it to smooth it anymore. Then I'm going to take a few pieces from one side and just flip them over. Now I'm just going to make a little flower headband for my green witch. Then I created this stand for her, and I'm just going to have it be kind of naturey, and then I'll have some vines that are going to hold her in place. I made a book out of clay and I printed some spells online, and I'm just adding those to the open pages. And then I made her broom. I had some bamboo sticks and I'm just cutting those pieces, adding a stick that I found in the garden and using a little bit of string, and that's her broom. All right, my witch is done, and I'll see you guys next time.